you ready?
How did we not fuck it up?
How was that?
Like,
I think
the natural order was thrown out of balance, and we somehow did it more perfectly than we have done for some of our regular counts.
I would be willing to bet that the reason we did it so perfectly is because it was thrown all out of whack. We were so confused that we had no option but to
we
do
had
it
to like
perfectly.
focus on it. Like our
Yeah.
brain went to like 100% capacity. Like when your computer starts like lagging out, and just because it's trying to do so much
I
at
turned
one
into
time.
that Scarlett Johansson movie where it's like what if you could use all 100% of your brain? That was me counting the fucking
Lucy.
the thing. Yeah. I'm glad you remember the name. Good fucking.
Yeah.
I
The
also
episode's
knew
already
the
started, by
name.
the way. I'm including all of this.
Yeah, of
so.
course. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Weekly Weeb Club 39. This is the 39th week. There's apparently a Queen song called 39. I guess I'm a terrible person. Give me the number 39. Wikipedia. Okay. Let me look. Let me see if there's anything interesting. It's the sum of 5 consecutive prime numbers, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. And is also the product of the first and the last of those consecutive primes.
Whoa.
That's kind of interesting.
Numbers.
It's kind of an interesting little fact about the number.
Sad.
Man, fucking mathematicians being like, well, there's so shit. We gotta find weird facts about
Yeah,
these
they
numbers
just-
because there's so much. Like, in order to like get to the level at which you have to find out new things about math, you have to like let's fuck it. Let's just find out weird trivia, like Bulbapedia tier trivia about these fucking like.
Psychopathic. I love it.
Did you know that Bulbasaur is the first Pokemon to start in the Pokedex to start with the letter B?
Did you know that Vaporeon?
No.
All right, so comments, and I got one comment. I'm about to light one of you motherfuckers up, and I am going to praise Craftsdwarf and White Knight the fuck out of this man. All right, let me find this fucking comment because someone pissed me off. Oh my lord, I saw this comment and I was, oh my fucking god. Here we go. YKO, formerly known as Kit. I didn't even realize it was Kit when I decided I was lighting this guy up, all right? He talks about, I love it when y'all get hyped over it. No one cares about that. Here's the thing. Craftsdwarf did something unprecedented for the weekly. I saw it, and I was blown away at the effort that it must have taken for him to do this, okay? Craftsdwarf added timestamps for the first time in weekly history. Do you know the level of commitment that takes? I was shocked. I was proud of it. I was going to come in anyways and be like, you know what? First of all, let's just all have a round of applause for Craftsdwarf for doing timestamps. This is completely unironic, by the way. I'm being fucking dead ass, okay? So how dare you greedy ass bitch. The first time you get timestamps, you ask him for more work on his timestamps? Fuck that. Craftsdwarf changed the game. He broke the mold, okay? He did something that had been undone before in human history. And classic fucking commenters, not good enough. They want better timestamps. Thankfully, Don understood. He just lost his mind about the timestamps. I respect it. Don is mature.
There's like a lot, like if I put timestamps for all of our turns, like they're just gonna skip my turn.
No.
Like I can't do that.
I thought the more timestamps thing meant like I at first I kind of forgot about like, yeah, maybe we could do it for like individual people's things on the weekly roundup, but like I thought they were gonna go crazy with it where like within the topic itself we split up different.
Fuck
Yeah,
that.
fuck
that.
That's something
Because like there are points where we break up, but it's like I don't want to like I don't know. Like
if we were to
you
do
would have
that,
to
we
think
would have
about
to
that, like,
we would have
way
to make
more
enough
about how
money
that
to
would
just
even
pay someone where that's like their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I will say because I wanted to add like because I didn't decide to do it until after we recorded that episode. But there was actually a comment on the episode before of Kit asking if there could be timestamps on the episode. So I guess the motherfucker was dissatisfied.
You're saying he asked you for something, you gave it, and instead of saying thank you for doing what I asked for, he said you didn't do a good enough job. I'm sorry, greedy
can
boy.
You put this in for Kit? This is for Kit. This is not for any of you.
Yes, all right. Now we're leveling up our gifts to be targeting, commenters and regular audience members.
I like actually this Dojo comment where he says, "Nice, I consider voting for the worst in honor." Fuck you, dog. That's just funny.
Justice Man repents. I wish I'd voted for Son of Biscay. Like, yeah, good. Feel bad. No, I don't. I just thought it was funny that he actually like, you know what? I made a mistake. You know, we all make mistakes. But some mistakes lead to us watching a mediocre manga adaptation of a decent manga that is in itself mediocre. But the anime. So, look, I'm honestly like thinking like, man, if you guys were caught up to Son of Biscay, we could just like overthrow and say fuck Orient and drop it and just talk about the back half of Son of Biscay. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Because I watched a new episode today and I was like, wow, that was a fucking good episode. I like this show.
Half of our patrons fucking start comment and say that that's what they want.
Overthrow the vote. I agree.
Recount.
I demand a recount.
Fuck you, Natty. Your vote doesn't count. You're not even in the comments. I don't see you. I just realized that might not have been Natty. I don't even know if he's patron to us. Because it could have just been someone who put his name in as Natty on the poll.
No, I think Natty is patron us.
Okay, I don't remember. I just realized, like, wait, what if I'm wrong? And I just made fun of, like, called this man out. Because he's going through some shit, so.
I need to know.
He's busy.
I don't know, by the way, if this comment is, like, real or not. Because the name is, we do a little bit of trolling. But if it's unironic, either way, it's hilarious.
Oh.
But I think I like it more if it's unironic, which is they said, I'm 21 minutes in and I didn't hear anyone mention Obito or Aizen, which is fucking funny because obviously, for those who listened later on in the episode, we say that,
we do love a lot of the big three antagonists. We just talk about it so fucking much that maybe we just wanted to not.
Yeah, like
today.
we just didn't. We didn't need to talk about them to talk about antagonists. But it's so funny to me that like we even had a conversation about like, yeah, maybe we won't mention the big three for once. And there's a comment that's like, where's the big three? Because that's actually what I feel like a bunch of comments were about, like the fact that we didn't, or there were a couple about the fact that we just
Matthias says Weeb Club, the big three are overrated, or Weeb, the big three are overrated club. Like that's our new thing. We hate the big three. What were some other ones? No, there are none other ones. Unfortunate.
There are other ones, but I don't think there are. Again, I'm gonna say it every time because I do appreciate it. I did like seeing you guys villains. There were some that I saw people say that I thought were good. I know like someone mentioned Riboku, who I also think is really good. I just specifically wanted to talk about Hoken because I like that that villain thing. I know Offline talked about a few people. He talked about Utsuro, or fuck me, whatever. I don't care. He talked about Archer. He mentioned some other people, Dio. So yeah, all right.
I see.
So I guess the Reddit.
All right, I'm not gonna talk about the first one. Can we even show that on video? Yeah, it's just a word. It won't hurt anybody.
Yeah, it's just Craftsdwarf and his
None
Valentine.
can say it. I can't.
Craftsdwarf's Valentine, Gamabunta.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah.
And then this video is, I don't know if it's like
on
edited
point,
from Kaguya, but it absolutely was me trying to get None to talk last episode.
I think that's how it went, but it's also been a while since I've seen the show, so I don't know if that was in I only saw it the second season, so.
Show's on its third season already?
I think so.
Jesus Christ. Time goes so time isn't real. I swear to God. Do you guys ever feel like ever since the pandemic happened, right? And it started. Like it's been 2 years since then. But when I think about it, it does not feel like it's been 2 years since then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When the pandemic started, I was still in high school, and it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but technically it has been that long since I've been to school.
Yeah,
to high
it's fucking.
school.
It blows my mind every time. And then when I think about that as well, because then it really hits me as well when I think about the fact that the Weeb Club started before the pandemic.
What the fuck?
You're
right.
So then, like, that's also how long the Weeb Club's been. It really blows my mind when I think about it sometimes. How, because, like, it doesn't almost, like, make sense mentally. Because, like, I think about it and I'm like, yeah, I guess it has been fucking forever since whatever, like, the pandemic started. Because it's been 2 full years, but, like, because of how different I think life has been, it feels like it hasn't been anywhere near that long. And so I definitely think time is just like an illusion now, and I honestly don't believe it's real, and nobody can convince me it is. Because
how about that? It's been almost a year since we started season 2.
I know. Dude, I think about that every time. Because it's so funny when you do like a weekly show.
Well, I mean,
right?
Technically, we started season 2 as being published in May, but we were already recording stuff at this time last year.
Yeah, we were.
I'm pretty sure. So,
what I was gonna say is, I think it's very interesting because like. When you have like a weekly show like this, right? There's two big days. There's 2 big episodes very close to each other, right? There's 50, which is big because obviously 50 is just a big number, and then 52, which is a year, right? And we're coming up on both of those. And I don't know. I think we need to have a talk like off recording sometime about what we're gonna do for the year anniversary, because that's actually a big deal. Like a year of doing a weekly show like that, like that's fucking awesome. And I think we should fucking pog out, so.
Honestly, you talking about, like, yeah, it's been 2 years. It kind of just reminded me of how, like, one time when I was at work, I saw somebody who went to my school there. Like, they come there fairly often. And, like, I kind of, like, I assumed it wasn't them because they looked so different. And it was, like, because, like, they had all, like, facial hair and they were taller. And I remember them being, like, a lot shorter. And so, like, eventually I just asked them, like, do you know this person? Like, no, because I thought they were, like, I thought they were probably, like, the older brother of someone that I went to school with. So I asked them like that, and they were like, no. It's been 2 years, so I guess it does make sense that they would just look
No,
different.
that reminds me of once I was at, like, GameStop or something, and I saw someone who, like, who was, like, they were a senior in high school in the same year I was, like, either a freshman or a sophomore, and I met them like after I'd graduated, but I literally hadn't seen them in that time period at all, and I was taller than them after graduating when I was shorter than them in high school, so I just had that weird moment of like, oh, huh, I didn't say anything, obviously. I was just like, hey, I know you, and he's like, oh shit, and we remember, hey, this class, right? And because he was in Algebra 2, and we shared a class. And it was just weird, like, I'm almost a head taller than you now. This is weird, because I remember looking up at you back in high school, back when we knew each other high. Like, just, yeah, time is a weird thing. And yeah, as far as meeting classmates, also, after I graduated, I met some people who I knew in elementary school, and, like, one of them was, like, married, and no, actually, multiple of them were married and have kids, and I'm still, actually, let's not go down that road.
I am about to fucking call
It's
someone
okay.
out.
Oh, God.
All right.
Uh-oh.
None knows the story. This involves a meeting of classmates, okay? So I got to set the stage for you, all right? So every Friday, I leave work. I get off work, and, like, I make a lot of cash at my job, right? Because I'm a pizza delivery driver, so I just get a lot of cash. So what I always do is I sit in the parking lot, I count my money, and then I go home. And on Fridays, there's, like, a daiquiri place that sells, like, frozen daiquiris, which is, like, alcoholic, whatever, yummy, tasty, whatever. And because it's Fridays, I like to treat myself. I stop there on the way home every Friday. Okay? So I stopped there this Friday, and when I first got in my car, I joined a Discord server, and I added everyone, and Afros and a couple other people joined. Offline was there. And so we're sitting there, and I go to the daiquiri place, and I didn't mute my mic, and what I should have done that I didn't think about doing is I should have turned down my the audio, like the audio for my speakers in my car all the way down, but I didn't. And so I like order my thing, and then the girl asks, "Are you in Miss Whatever's class?" Which I am. And I was like, "Oh yeah," and she's like, "I'm in that class too." And so it was just like, whatever. The person working there was someone in my class. And so then I'm pulling out my cash to give to her, and I'm counting it out so that I know that she has the right amount. And as that's happening, Afros just says, and it comes through my speakers, and I know she hears it, "He's in there." And I just ignored it. I just fucking ignored it. But I was pissed. Because it's not like I'm trying to, like, flirt with this girl or anything. But it's just like, now you've made it awkward. I can't go to class now. Fuck Afros for that shit, dude. Fuck that guy.
You just pretend Afros was playing a game and talking about the game. That's what you do.
Pissed me off. So cringe that happened to me. Just the fucking gall to just say that. Shut up. I mean, obviously you could say, well, it's your fault. You should have muted your mic or turned your car down. Sure, but I didn't think about it. I was tired from work.
I mean, was Afro? I don't think Afros would think of it as like would think about her hearing it. I feel like he was probably just saying it as a joke to the people in the call.
Yeah, of course. But fucking, I know that that's what happened, but I can still be mad about the way it played out. I was not a happy man when that happened. I I rolled up the window once I gave her the money and like the stuff was being made, and I yelled at Afros. But it was not a good time. I was not happy. So if you guys can't tell, this is not going to be an episode with a topic. Just saying that, just in case, we have people who are like, "When's the topic?" Just like, we did this before. I guess it was the topic. Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're just gonna like talk and just like see what happens, see what's good in the hood. So it will be a lot of like different things being said. There won't be like a topic. We might not even fucking talk about anime. Fuck that shit. Honestly, skipping Orient.
Anime?
Hey, Vindy, what do you think
cringe.
about systemic racism?
Unbased.
I think the problem with all things like racism and all that is that it's always directed towards the people who don't deserve it instead of the people who do.
And who would you say deserves it, mister? Who's
I'll
on the
just leave
radar?
that up for you to figure out. I'll just, you can put it together. I did have a theory I wanted to run by y'all. All right. So I've been thinking about it, right? And I think that people today, we're all too stringent with each other, okay? I think the reason that you get these people that are just like insane bigots is because you're not allowed to be bigoted towards anyone, right? So some people that like they feel so trapped because like this hatred inside of them can't go anywhere. So I think we amend the rule. Everyone gets one, okay? You can either be racist or you can be sexist or you can be homophobic, whatever. Everyone gets one thing to be bigoted about, and that's it, right? And that way everyone has a vehicle for their hatred to go into. But then you only get that one, right? So then you get double canceled. If it turns out you're like misogynistic and racist, you're fucked, right? But if you're just racist or just a misogynist, you're fine, right? Like everyone's got something. What do you think, Nun?
So if you pick racist as your one, can you say the N-word?
That's a good fucking question. I didn't think about that.
I think that sounds a little too powerful. Like that just.
I agree.
So
right, like this, like you're looking at,
I'm
you're like,
racist. I could say the N-word.
Yeah, you're looking at like like your RPG stats screen, and you're like looking through the different like classes and races, and one of them just seems like way more busted than the others, and it's like, well, what? You get an N-word pass? Like what? Well, of course I'm gonna pick this one. Like the others are just fluff at that point. Challenge runs.
That's a good point.
What Vindy was saying makes a lot of sense. Kind of like how some people could say like, oh, anxiety runs in the family, racism can run in the family, like, it's in their blood. You can't hate them for that. It's kind of like how like white women loving dogs is kind of like them reliving a little bit of what they had with their black slaves, It's just kind of
what the fuck? What the fuck?
It just makes sense.
Oh my god. I was not ready for that one. You think that's not what it is? White women are just a fucking plague.
It's
on
the
earth.
closest thing they can have to owning another being.
No, because
have you considered marriage?
That is
no,
true.
It doesn't work like that.
No, marriage is absolutely a guy signing his soul away because he either does everything she wants him to do, right, or she takes half his money. So either way, she wins.
Half of his life.
You're right. His money, his house, the kids, the dog.
Well, I can't say the N-word, so we know which one I chose.
Look, all I'm saying is a dog can't fight back at all, and
No,
she has to put him in like a little shed. Ooh,
I
it's like
think
the
if
fucking
you... Here's how
I
I'll
have
say...
to sleep on the couch tonight. Like, yeah, it sounds like marriage to me.
God, that's a good point. Man. Fucking tragic. Pour one out for all our fucking married homies. Couldn't be me. I would never.
Oh, we haven't had some manic degeneracy in a little while.
Yeah, I got a story I want to say, but I don't know if I should. But I really want to, dude.
What's it about? Is it about someone else?
I just don't know if I should say it, but I want to.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'll help you.
No, I don't think you know it. I don't think you know
Continue.
it. Okay. I really don't know. What do you think, Crafts?
Can you at least say the subject or the topic or like something
It
more
involves
broad or
me.
general?
It's a story from my life. No
Does it
one else
involve
is
people
implicated in it.
who would be like
Most likely, no. I don't think there's any chance that the other person in this story would ever hear this.
even if like Renru heard it, he doesn't know that person or okay.
Okay, I'll just go for it. All right.
Yeah,
all right,
go for it.
Give me
yeah.
1 second.
One. All
Okay, I need to take a drink. So me at work and okay, I'll just start this off by saying in this story I am not a predator, okay? I am not preying on underage women. But I don't know how real predators do it. I could fucking never. All right? So there was a girl at work who asked for my phone number.
Oh no.
And she's 19. She's in college. She's 19, okay?
Okay.
And I gave it to her.
Still a fucking child by my estimate, but you know.
But you're that. But there's a bigger age gap between you, right? Because it's like 4 years between me and this girl.
See, in high school, I remember hearing about the rule is like of like what is generally socially acceptable is like half your age plus 7.
That rule's really bad. That rule's really bad.
It's not. Well, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I am realizing it's not even like it's about the rule. No, it's more just like if you're under that age, I probably just like think you're a fucking child.
Yeah.
And get away from me. Because if you're like 22 or younger, like I'm gonna be a little.
Well, okay, so I was talking to this girl, and I by the way, just to start this off, I was not in any way trying to have a relationship with them or anything, right? It was mainly because they asked for my number and they're a coworker, right? And so I can't be impolite because I have to work with them. You know what I mean? But we were talking, and they mentioned that they liked Five Nights at Freddy's a lot. And I swear to God, in that moment, I felt like a pedophile. Like, I'm not, but I felt like a fucking predator. I swear to God, I thought I was, like, gonna be locked up and canceled. And I'm not doing anything wrong, but, like, I just, like, the Five Nights at Freddy's mention was, like, too much for me. I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is too much for me. And the person was legal. Like, I don't know how real fucking predators do it. I really don't. It takes, like, a different kind of fucked, actually. You know what I mean? Like, it immediately, just in my brain, it's like when they say that they were like Five Nights at Freddy's, I just see them as a child.
Well, I think I understand just because, like, well, let's see, it came out in 2014, and it is popular with, like, what, preteens and teens, right? Or younger? Like, what would you say?
When it came out in 2014, I was 15, 16.
Right, so even if, like, you know, she would have been 13 at the time, right? Like, or, like, right? Or
no, I didn't know. I mean, I was in high school, but I didn't know anyone in high school at all. I really don't think any year I was in high school. Maybe like my junior, senior year, like the freshmen, sophomores. But I think it was like even like a little bit younger. Like it was like people who were like elementary school at the time it came out, or maybe like early middle school. But yeah, I mean it's like probably 4 years, but those 4 years are a big deal just in my mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, I got you. Like I remember like a week or two ago, I forget, Cartoon Network came up or something like that, and you were mentioning the classic Cartoon Network shows, and you were bringing up all these things from there weren't that many good in the 2000s, and I'm like, because when I think classic Cartoon Network, my brain is in the 90s, and you keep mentioning all these shows, and I'm like,
no
Vindy.
Sticks and stones.
So yeah, I get what you mean when it's like when
No
someone says something and it's like, oh yeah, that's a fucking child
I feel like if you were talking
speaking.
to a girl and she said something that even like, you know, Like, if it was, like, someone like Nun's age who mentioned that, like, oh, yeah, I used to love watching Adventure Time before school. You just couldn't do it. You just be like, I gotta get out of here. I can't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand.
And that's how I felt. It was weird. And let me say it again before people say anything. The person was 19 years old. I am not a predator.
You're a prey. You're a mouse, a rat.
Yeah.
You were caught in a rat trap. She's the predator.
I don't really like. I know what the basics of what Five Nights at Freddy's is, but I don't really know anything about it aside from like spooky jump scares and haunted Chuck E. Cheese kind of shit animatronics or something.
I just think Matt Pat's funny. Not like not intentionally funny, but just the fact that he has like 65 Nights at Freddy's videos is funny, and I still want to sit down and watch all of those because I feel like by the end my brain will have expanded. Like I will just like ascend to the next plane of human. You know what I mean?
God, fucking theory video, like those kind of theory videos where it's just like the dumbest shit. It's like Matt Pat's
one day I'll do it.
Brand
one day I'll just go full manic and just watch the whole thing. And I can't wait.
I actually remember thinking his Doki Doki ones were unironically good though, because like I think they were actually based on something, because it was like it's stuff that is in the game and is like it's
I'm pretty
literally
sure that's how most of his
completely
Five Nights videos are. I know that.
I mean, I'm sure he has other stuff like that.
I remember seeing for his Five Nights stuff that like the guy who makes Five Nights would talk about his videos a lot, and like whenever Matt Pat would release a new video, the Five Nights guy would say like, you got some stuff right and some stuff wrong. Keep looking. So like, you know, I'm sure there's some actual truth to it, but
I see.
Matt Pat should really get around to covering Hello Neighbor though. I'm waiting for that. Oh, sad. Okay. You guys don't get it?
I didn't hear what you said.
Matt Pat should get around to covering Hello Neighbor.
Why?
Okay, you don't get it then?
Can you explain it to me?
Basically, the developer of that game keeps adding him on Twitter to cover their game, and he just ignores it.
That's fucking funny.
Like, they desperately want him to cover their game, and it's a whole thing that people noticed.
That's really
funny.
Actually.
Holy shit. Notice me!
Matt Pat, make video on me game. I want players. I need money.
Like it's to the point where, like, I think they'll announce something for the game, and then they'll still be like, at Matt Pat would really love this, or he would really, like, you should really look into this. It's just the way they would do it.
Fucking cringe.
It's so funny.
That's really funny. Fuck. I almost had a question, but I couldn't remember it.
Unfortunate.
Hold up.
It was gonna be something like kind of dumb.
Shit.
Did you find one of the tweets then, or are you laughing at something else?
Yeah, I found some.
Oh my god. You should probably reply to our DM.
I really hope Matt Pat just responds one day to them and says GD5MSH8LYVA.
Like, I'm pretty sure Matt Pat has covered their game like one time, but after like, you know, like when the game actually came out, everybody thought it wasn't like that good, and it wasn't as good as like the initial demo thing that they had out originally, so nobody really cared. And that's when they started getting like all like this.
Right.
So sad.
Yes.
Sorry, it's just so funny.
None. Did you know people in your school, I guess, who were into Five Nights at Freddy's? I guess to go back a little bit just to try to gauge the age range. No? Okay, when I say did you know anyone, I don't mean were you friends with anyone.
No,
but like, did you know of people who were?
No, I didn't know anybody. Like, I didn't know of anybody who talked about it.
Sad. What was the weirdest thing you knew anyone in, like, how do I explain this? Like, what was the not to shame people, but what was the like weirdest thing you knew someone that was like into? Not like you were like good friends with them, but like you knew.
I mean, I already told the thing on one of the episodes about the furry kids at my school.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about the They were definitely into Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, come on, hold on.
They probably were into it at some
I
point.
was say you had fucking furries at your school.
Like
They
when that
definitely
happened, it wasn't when the game was like popular, but they were definitely into it in the past. No way.
Yeah, that's how they became furries. Five Nights at
No,
Freddy's.
yeah, and I've definitely already like talked about that for me. I forget which video it was though.
It was the bullying anime fans and furries video.
Well, no, but I was
pretty
trying to
sure
remember the
it's
one
called
that I brought it. Like the weirdest thing that I remember someone being into in high school.
Okay.
Racism.
Well, okay, so it's either the episode called "What the What Gets Run Over by a Car" or the bullying anime fans and furries. It's one of those two that you would have brought up like a school.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember why I brought it up because it was weird, but and also the person involved was also is still my best friend, so yeah.
All right,
Epic.
Craftsdwarf.
Oh, hi.
How much money would someone have to give you for you to wear a fursuit every day for a month? And not just like wear a fursuit inside your home. Every day you have to go somewhere. So like even if it's just like going to the grocery store, going to like
nobody
Burger
has
King,
to know it's
something.
you though. That's the thing.
How much money
I would
every day
do
for a
it.
month? How much
Nobody
money?
knows.
How much? Or are you saying you would just do it because it's funny?
No, it would have to be for money. But
I don't know what my price is because my instinct, no matter what number I think of, is no.
You know, I'm not crazy. I'm not. I could do it for 5,000. I'm not.
None's
gonna say
practically about to do it
$1
for free. Like,
5,000 is a lot of money to do something like that.
I mean, it's every day for a month, though.
Okay, I'll just go get food or something.
I have to keep going everywhere in that in some fucking. I don't know, like either hot or cold weather. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too bad in cold weather, but fucking, I don't know. It's a long time.
It's fucking February. It's already getting up to like moderate temperatures, like more like like 70s, but like for California,
it's cold as
that's
shit
like
today here. But it was super warm all winter. It was like December and it was like 80 degrees. We're like, all right, what the fuck am I?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm not answering that beyond what I've already answered.
Have I? Okay,
This
okay.
fucking guy.
Here's another thing, I guess.
Maybe
Have I told you guys about the
3,000.
NFT
Maybe
I
can
want to
do
make?
that.
What? No.
I really think
Go
it would
off,
just.
King.
I don't know if I'm gonna do this because I think it wouldn't. It's one of those things that's like exponentially funnier the more popular I am, just like online or whatever. But I think it would be really funny to make an NFT of my asshole.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
Just like bend over, take a picture of my asshole, and turn that into an NFT. It's fucking funny to me. I don't know why, but that's just so fucking funny. Get my ass minted on the blockchain. You know what I mean?
I've asked Craftsdwarf to join me on an NFT venture, and he won't.
Not fucking today.
What's the NFT venture? Wait, hold on. Can I know?
His profile picture. We just use his profile picture, make many different colors of it. It's literally flipping.
It's called Dwarf Fortress.
Yeah, every NFT stolen. So you stole this, and then I steal it from you to make the NFT.
All right, you got me there.
How much would you spend on the blue Craftsdwarf NFT?
There's the blue one. I already have a black one somewhere. I haven't used it.
Yeah,
in a while,
if you look
but
up
it
Dwarf
exists.
Fortress, it just shows up the black one.
No, isn't the one from the game gray? I mean,
There's a lot of different colors. It's based on professions. So I chose the blue one because Craftsdwarfs are blue, but like dwarves that work with wood are yellow. Miners are gray. So like
I only knew about the blue and the gray. I made the black one myself, so if there's already a black one, I made that for no reason. That's kind of funny.
I don't remember if there is a black one in the game because that one wouldn't work well with the DOS. But
isn't the logo of the game black? Isn't the logo of the game black?
What was that?
Isn't the logo of the game black?
Well, it's if you see the gameplay, like every part of the game is represented as a sprite, and usually on a black color. I mean, I guess they could change the background, but maybe there's a black.
No, the logo is white. The logo is white. I was wrong. Yeah. I was wrong.
Okay, so yeah, the one I made is the rare one now. Sells for the most.
Here's what you do.
SSS rare. Dwarf Fortress NFT.
Then you start doing multiple colors instead of just one straight one. So like then you can like do it almost off of characters. Like I would buy the Gamma Bunta colored Craftsdwarf NFT.
Yep.
right? You could do a Luffy one, you could do a Katakuri one, a Jalal one.
Gotta get all the big three in there, I think.
Yeah.
Make a Giga Dwarf Fortress NFT.
What the fuck?
Really go off with it. We
I think
monetize our fallen fourth member. Put their hat
I think
on
that's
there.
the real strat for NFTs, right? It's actually not to take it seriously. It's just to make a bunch of fucking memes. And just like but not like actual memes. Just like do shit that's only funny because you're turning it into an NFT, right? I don't care about NFTs. I'm not even like one of these people who like cares enough to like be upset about them. I just don't give a shit. But because of that, I feel like I see like the meme potential in like, again, doing something like minting my asshole on the blockchain, right? Or like just like making, like Craftsdwarf fucking colored PFP NFTs. Like that's funny.
We can all be Craftsdwarf.
We can all have the
Sending
Craftsdwarf
the
NFT
Toady one
Twitter
cease and
profile
desists
pictures.
so that he has to stop making Dwarf Fortress because it's imposing on our NFTs.
Yeah. And then we can all use our NFTs and make that our Twitter profile pictures.
Yes.
And so then we all have Craftsdwarf profile pictures.
Even
and
have
then
the
whoever
rare
has
Dragon Crafts NFT. This one's gonna be the rarest of them all.
And then whoever has the whoever buys the blue Craftsdwarf NFT gets to force Craftsdwarf to change his Twitter profile picture since he doesn't own the image.
They can just have the channel at that point.
That's a bidding war for your channel. You gotta try to outget it. Oh, that's fucking funny. Oh my god.
That was a topic that we just went down.
That's the title of the episode is Craftsdwarf NFTs.
Craftsdwarf NFTs now available.
Available.
Oh my god! And then the thumbnail we can have like the different colored ones and then for sale.
Buy now.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Hold on, I'm gonna send a DM real quick.
Okay, I'm looking.
You sending a DM to me for the business opportunity. Let's go. We're getting started. They'll be out before Wednesday. Don't worry.
Craftsdwarf's consulting his
My financial
his tech
manager.
guy. Yeah, your financial manager and your tech guy. How do I make this
I hope that
NFT
likes
reality?
the idea. Okay, so I thought of a topic that's something we can laugh at.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys saw this. Well, because it apparently happened like right when the Nintendo Direct was going down.
Nintendo L Classic.
Which we could talk about that, but Crunchyroll just dropped their anime awards. Like there was no ceremony or anything.
There was nothing.
They just like,
fucking...
here's who won. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit. Kimetsu, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Attack on Titan won like 80% of the awards. Like,
here's my real question for this.
Attack on Titan.
Right? Here's my question for why they did this. Do you think that the reason was actually just because like they were gonna do, like an actual award show, but there were so few votes that they realized people actually just don't give a shit, so they just dropped it?
Yeah, probably not.
Because they did do it. They did do a ceremony last year when you would have been in full COVID, or I mean, even the last 2 years. Yeah.
They normally do a ceremony.
Yeah, so it's weird that they didn't this year, but I do think it's funny.
It's funny because like the problem I think with like doing like an anime award, because like let's be honest, right? Nobody nobody actually watches the Game Awards, for example, because obviously Crunchyroll, if you ask them, they'd say they want the Crunchyroll Awards to be the Game Awards of anime, right? Nobody actually watches the Anime Awards for the awards, right? You watch it because Jeff Keighley cares really hard about making a good show, so he gets a shit ton of announcements. So it's basically like it's like the winter E3,
people,
you know what I mean?
You at least get like game announcements.
Yeah, so
news.
people are watching for the announcements and trailers and news that's going to be there. And then because you're already watching, then people will kind of care about the awards because you're already watching the show, right? What is Crunchyroll going to do? Start asking studios for anime reveals and trailers? Like that, I feel like you almost just can't do it the same way in anime. And people aren't going to care about Crunchyroll's anime awards.
Yeah, like they could have maybe had a little bit of their own thing if the Crunchyroll originals were actually like good. Like if they were good and like, God of High School was actually remembered by people and, people hyped up Tower of Gods anime a little bit more, maybe it would work out. But just
Well, yeah,
they
I
don't
mean,
have
I
anything.
think even in general, just comparing, it's like if you see an ad for an anime, like, oh cool, I get to watch that, and maybe I'll like it, or probably I'll like. If it's a sequel, then like if it's a much anticipated sequel, then sure. But like with games, I think there's just a level of like when you're seeing something like watching an ad doesn't necessarily tell you everything about like the experience of watching the show, but like seeing a video game ad. I mean, obviously there's gonna be bullshit with game ads, but like, oh, I can play that, right? Like, and that's part of the art of the game ad is lying to you. Right. So obviously I just think game ads have a different, and announcements and stuff have a way different hype to them compared to anime stuff. Like even what's the one, like, and even, like getting a sequel to a video game that I really like, or another FromSoft game or stuff like that, like that's going to get me excited, right? Cause I've played it and I know it, but even like, I can't think of an anime announcement that like, oh cool, like even like, okay, Osama Ranking is pretty cool. What if it gets a season 2? I'll be like, oh cool, neat. Even though I like the show, but I'm not gonna get like super hyped over it, right?
I hate Osama Ranking.
I like it, but it's not like gonna be super exciting to like, oh cool, there's gonna be more. Like it's it's just like maybe it would be interesting. Like the most exciting anime announcement I could think of would be like a sequel season, because if it's a new show. Like one that's been announced for Nona for a while is Pluto, an adaptation of Naoki Urasawa's Pluto. I don't know if it's going to be good or not because I haven't seen the show, right? Where, and even anime, they can just go off the rails in the second season or whatever, or like what they change production teams or whatever the fuck happens. But at least there's still I've already seen part of the product, right? Like. But, so, like, even if, like, a wild announcement that I think would at least drum up some hype would be No Game, No Life's getting a continuation, just because of, like, it hasn't gotten anything in years, and it was pretty popular, at least, so, I don't know.
Right, and it's also not like anime get that many trailers before they launch, either. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously the biggest announcement that at any point when it's not actively running is just JoJo's. But that's being done with Netflix, so they couldn't have even like potentially had that, right? So it's just hard to think of like when you can have like really massive awards that a lot of people are going to care about.
I think announcing like anything Trigger or KyoAni would get people, or maybe even Shaft, would make at least people who are like really big into anime like excited, especially Trigger shit. Really, I think.
Yeah, definitely Trigger more so than KyoAni, and KyoAni more so than Shaft, I would say. Or at least going on anything Shaft, because obviously, like, continuing franchise is one thing, but, like...
Yeah, because, with Shaft, it's like, yeah, they did do Madoka, they did the Monogatari series, but, like, I don't
But
think...
if it was just like, oh, Bishonen Tanteidan season 2,
that's exactly what I was
like,
thinking
oh,
of.
cool.
Like, I don't think people...
Yeah, no one's gonna care. Or no, people are definitely gonna care, but not as many as if it was fucking...
Yeah,
Monica, give me the movie,
right?
Or
it's
whatever,
one of those things where they'd announce it in some people, but it wouldn't have the same appeal that a lot of the big announcements you get for games are, right? Where
Youthful Table is now another fucking thing people.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's the thing is that like with anime and manga, there's just less things that I think would have just the that kind of pedigree to them. Where like Nintendo is I mean obviously like they have there's a lot of reasons to be dissatisfied with things, but like when it like Kirby was during the Nintendo Direct, a lot of people were like, oh shit, Kirby, because it's a franchise that has a lot of good stuff that people like from it. I like a lot of Kirby stuff, right? And I just so like there, I don't know, I just feel like there's more chance of like I don't know, there's more big gaming things than there are big anime things that would regularly get releases.
Well, also
right?
more people play games, and also I feel like even like the most popular anime, right? Like currently, like the current most popular anime probably have a less high percentage of total anime fans really caring about it or watching it than I think you get with like there's some of the super big game announcements of people that are at least interested to see how it turns out or interested to see it be announced or see what the game, you know what I mean?
Honestly, I think if Crunchyroll were ever tried out, like their chance to try to make something like the Game Awards their ship has sailed in that sense. Like I feel like the time they would have been able to do that, or really, I think they would have been able to do
2016,
that,
2017.
it would have been when like Beatrice was still Digibro, when Giga and his friends were like a little more talking to like the community, I guess.
I think it would have been
I don't
2016
think
is
it
the best
was
time
as-
you could have really tried to do it.
Yeah, like there are more people together as like a community, and now it's like, it really has dissolved in a lot of ways where it's not quite the same. And I think back then too, a lot of people were like directly sponsored by Crunchyroll and were talking about them positively and working with them other than Mother's Basement. So like a lot of people would have been promoting it and been like positive about it, but now they just don't have that anymore.
Yeah, and especially
Mother's
if back then
Basement
they had
isn't
done it
the,
and
like,
had,
only having him, I don't think it would make it possible to
Well, I think for most people, Mother's Basement's just a fucking joke now.
I wasn't gonna be that toxic. I just meant like just
I'll
one
fucking
person.
say it. I don't give a shit.
Hey, Mother's Basement, would you like to be a guest on the Weeaboo Club?
Fuck no, I don't want him as a guest on the Weeb Club.
Wow,
What
you're
the
so
fuck?
toxic and hateful.
Yeah, I'll fucking say it. I'm an adult.
What the fuck?
But yeah, I guess, like at the end of the day, like what works for one thing isn't going to necessarily work for another. So obviously I don't think like, the Crunchyroll awards trying not to imitate, the video game awards. It's probably just, doomed to fail, I think, especially like you said at this point. But yeah, I don't know if I have any more to say. I was scrolling through and just,
we could talk about Nintendo's Direct since we brought it up.
I skimmed through it.
Mario Kart was the best announcement.
I disagree.
Honestly, I forgot everything but Kirby. I think there was something else I cared
You're
about.
not going to play all those Mario
I'm
Kart
not.
courses, Vindy Vondo.
I
You're
literally
not
am.
going to.
Let's be fucking dead ass. All right. First of all. All right. Pretty fucking boring Direct. Not a lot of crazy shit. Okay. First of all. Second of all, Strikers would be good, except it has like the looter fucking gear shit, dog shit. Kill yourself, Nintendo.
The maps are dog shit too.
Here's the thing with the Mario Kart one. At first, I was like gonna laugh at Nintendo because I always look for opportunities too, and I would just say, people wanted Mario Kart 9, people wanted new characters, people wanted new courses, all this shit that you can make fun of them for. But then I saw the number, 48 fucking courses. Are you kidding me? That doubles the courses in the game. Like, it doesn't matter anything else. It's $25 for 48 courses. That means I buy it. And then anytime in the future I want to play Mario Kart, which happens pretty frequently. Maybe I have friends over and we want to play a drinking game. Or maybe I'm just talking to someone it's late night. We're like, fuck it, let's run some Mario Kart. It will get me to replay more Mario Kart more because there's so many maps. Not to mention Coconut Mall. We'll probably get Daisy Cruise, right? So we'll get a bunch of good courses. I also think the idea of bringing Mario Kart Tour courses, which are these phone courses where I actually think a lot of the courses in Mario Kart Tour look really cool, but obviously I'm not going to play the fucking phone gacha to play them. Bringing them, because it's super interesting as well when you think about that they're essentially being brought backwards, right? Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out in 2017, and Mario Kart Tour was, I think, 2019. So they're essentially bringing courses backwards a game to bring them up, to put them on the previous game of the series so that they can be played on a console. But I think that's really sick as well. I actually think the Mario Kart announcement's really sick.
Sad.
It's $2
I
a course.
understand why
That's
people are
crazy.
excited for it, but it's also one of those things where it's like, since there's like 48 courses, it's like, god damn, I don't know if it's like fair to be that guy and be like, oh, they should just be working on a new game, but it's like you're putting this much like into this game that's been around since the Wii U. I have to respect it that it is like a lot of effort to do, but it's also just like,
for me, the big thing is just now it makes it so that, because it's not even about like, oh, that effort going towards anything else. It really just is like the amount of value now that it makes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like where, I mean, obviously with the DLC, but if you have the game and you have the booster pack, the amount of courses and content in the game is so astronomically above any other Mario Kart game in the series, except for maybe if you want to count the challenges on DS, that like it's an insane deal. And I actually just can't find anything wrong with it, which is why it's my favorite thing from the Direct, because everything else I can come up with something that I have something immediately that I'm just like kind of not super hyped about.
Sad. My favorite thing from the Direct were the Chrono Cross remaster and Live Alive, because those were very interesting to me.
Live Alive looks really sick, actually.
And Kirby was cool, but it's one of those things where, like, we have seen the game a lot, and it's like, this is the third time it's in a Direct, I think, so it's not like I'm like, whoa, Kirby. Like, it's good. It's Kirby.
I'll play it when it's out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I don't think it counts as like a W for the direct when it's this is like the third time it's been in. Like the first and second, sure, but it's like the third time.
That's one of the biggest problems with directs is like people will get hyped because they're seeing the Kirby game that they want to play, but it's like it's already been announced, so we saw gameplay, right? So unless you're gonna give me the release date, which I think we already had anyways, it's like there's nothing that you're giving me for this Kirby game that actually I think changes anything.
Yeah, like I mean, like I feel like this has happened with like E3s for Nintendo sometimes, where like they'll show something they've shown before, so they'll be like Nintendo W, they did better than like Sony or Microsoft or something. When it's like they've already shown this, like
yeah,
you know, I don't
no,
know.
I mean it happened last E3 with fucking Breath of the Wild 2, and they're always gonna win when they do that because they've shown so little of the game. Until you're giving me the release date, I don't care for that game. And then after they give me the release date, I don't care the next 2 times they show it.
I might care like the second time they show it, but like a third time, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna like keep giving this to you.
Have they actually shown anything from it? Like
yeah. Well, they showed a little bit of gameplay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really think it's like that. Like I mean, we saw him like use like some kind of like fire gauntlet or something, and like he was sticking through it like a tower.
And then we saw that there are floating like planets. We didn't really see a lot, but we did see a little bit. I would actually probably say we saw less in the second trailer than in the first, if I'm being dead ass.
That's true. That is actually just true. Just need them to show that fucking Breath of the Wild is not a bad game this time.
Just need them to show that there's gonna be dungeons that actually like give you things that make progressing through the worlds cool. Show me that you're gonna have a real story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Show me the Pog stuff that I want.
What did you think about Nintendo Switch Sports?
I mean, it's just unreal that people will praise Nintendo for being unable to release a complete game.
True.
Like, no, like, let's just be completely dead ass, all right? There's no reason that golf shouldn't be in the game on launch. It was one of the most popular. And the fact that, like, it's playable and they're working on it, that's not DLC. That is a thing that would be in the game. If there weren't updates, they would have waited and had this in the game and then released it. But Nintendo have learned, because people are fucking terrible, that they can just release a game that's unfinished and then give you the rest of the game later through updates, and people are okay with it. I had the same issue with Monster Hunter. I had the same issue with Animal Crossing.
I was about to ask, like, Vindy, would you put money down? Is Sunbreak going to be complete on launch?
No.
Like,
no.
Yes or no? Like,
because that's just like what they're doing. And like, this isn't for me. Like, I have no, and I've talked about this before, I have no problem with microtransactions. I think they're necessary economically right now in the video game industry. I have no problem with DLC. But when it's, especially when it's just free updates, it's like, why am I buying this game on launch when it's not complete and you're going to have to complete it later?
Yeah.
It just feels bad. And the fact that they're announcing, hey, this is what's in the game now, golf is coming later, that'll be an update, we have the time frame for it, just release the game when golf is done. You're Nintendo, you don't need the money from fucking Wii Sports 3 that bad.
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
There was a Wii Sports 2?
Yeah, Resort.
Like, it's a sports collection game, so like, I don't see why one of the sports in the collection needs to be like this far out. Like, it's not a AAA game. Like, it's not a big game. Like, I don't understand.
It's not like they're saying more examples of games that just were not complete on launch, in my opinion, even though they were playable. The amount of content they got after launch is like in any other game in this series or any other period in Nintendo's development, all of this content would have been in it at launch. The Mario sports games that have launched so far, right? Mario Tennis and Mario Golf both did not have the amount of content that other games did. They launched, people stopped playing because there was no content, and then they drip feed other content in updates instead of actually launching the game with enough content to keep people playing when it comes out.
Yeah, like, it just makes the initial first impression less impressive. So, like, even when it gets completed later, not everyone's going to care or notice or want to come back because they already played it for so long when it was in a more bare bones state.
And it's going to lead to people saying with, like, you know, Mario Golf or, you know, with Strikers, it'll definitely happen. If they did a Sluggers, it would happen with that as well. Where we're like, yeah, the game's really fun, but I think the GameCube one was better. And that's entirely because the previous games, you get it and it has everything you want and you can keep feeling like you come back to it because you know that there's so much in it. Whereas like now it's like you play a little bit of the game, and then if you decide it doesn't have a lot of content, even if it gets content later, it's hard to just like mentally change that perception. And I don't think it's people's fault for that. I think that Nintendo should be releasing these games completed, you know? And I would be saying completely different things if golf wasn't in at launch, or if they didn't even say golf and they said, hey, there's going to be either free updates or paid DLC for this game coming out way down the line. That add more sports and add more modes and add like challenges, because they're like the pro challenges in the original Wii Sports, which I assume aren't going to be in the game at launch, but they'll add them in an update. And if they said like they were going to do that, but it was going to be later down the line through some updates, that's one thing. But when you're showing golf and you're saying that golf's going to be in it, just not at launch, it just feels like the game you're releasing isn't finished.
I think they just definitely are doing that and kind of taking advantage of the ability to do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like I do feel like they get away with it because they're Nintendo in some ways.
Yeah, because it's Mario Golf, or because it's Nintendo Switch Sports, right? People are going to buy it because, I want to play tennis, or I want to play volleyball with my friends, or I want to play bowling, right? And then it's like the game sells well, so they get away with it, but it's like I don't like that people are buying this because what they're doing, I think, is just like bad. I do think volleyball looks really fun. I will probably pick up the game because I have a bunch of IRL friends that are really interested in the volleyball. Although my other problem with Nintendo Switch Sports is, and this is just a fundamental issue I have with Nintendo right now, they keep releasing games that are very much based around Joy-Cons, right? Where, the game wants you, like, you can't really play with the Pro Controller, right? You have to have the Joy-Cons, or the Joy-Cons are a major part of actually playing the game. And they still haven't fixed Joy-Con drift. And so, as someone who my Joy-Cons have drifted, I don't want to buy any of these Joy-Con games, or I still haven't bought Skyward Sword, even though I actually do think I'd like that game, because I want to play it with two Joy-Cons, and until I know I can get a fucking functioning controller that's not going to break on me in a couple months, I don't want to spend that money to...
because they're not fucking cheap, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're like $70. And so it's the same thing with Nintendo Switch Sports, where it's like, am I really going to buy this game where I have to use broken controllers for?
Honestly, I mean, I don't know if you feel like doing all this effort, but you could send your Joy-Cons to Nintendo. I mean, it would suck to be without your Joy-Cons, but
Well, I don't use my Joy-Cons anyways, but I don't want to go through all that. So it just, I really, because I just think that like they keep making these Joy-Con games, and it's like, please actually try to fix your fucking controller. So that really bothers me about that as well. So like the Nintendo Switch Sports on it, like at first it's like really cool, and then the more I think about it, the more issues I have with everything surrounding the announcement of the game. So
sad.
Yeah.
What else did they show?
Well, there were Strikers, which I barely mentioned, but I have another thing. Well, because
I do have a thing that I wanted to mention about.
What about Strikers?
I think that the courses, like the stages and stuff, I don't think they're gonna be good, because like, you know how they showed like the two parts of like a Mushroom Kingdom looking one and like a Bowser's Castle kind of theme together,
and like they were like,
they're both just grass fields, so it's like.
Right.
I mean, I haven't played it since fucking the GameCube, but part of me is like, it's fucking soccer. Like, did they have not grass fields? I'm sorry, like.
But the other games didn't. Like, there was like I don't think that the other games like courses were like amazing, but like, they had like a volcano kind of crack, like a little like a cracked ground volcano kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And like they didn't just have all grass fields. Like it was
only as a visual
stages.
Thing, right?
Yeah, like it's still
gotcha.
still played
that
like
makes sense.
soccer and stuff,
see.
but the locations look different.
Now I understand what you mean.
And like even though the gameplay isn't like changed by the stages, at least as far as I remember, it's still like you're still
visually,
looking at
nice
something different, and it makes the game it does make the game feel different just by looking at something.
It makes
different.
It more refreshing to continue playing because you're not
yeah.
I agree.
So like and then it becomes like, what's the point of like putting two different stages together when they're still like both the same grass field, but like on the other grass it looks like a little bit different color. Like it doesn't really do anything,
right?
So it's just like okay, and then it's gonna be a $60 game forever.
Yeah.
I don't even care that it's releasing at 60. I just like, I would probably get it eventually if it went down, but since it's never gonna drop Like,
I'm not gonna get it. I really don't like the gear thing. And part of it is because like they showed in the thing, right? They showed the screenshot where it's like Mario, but with gear he had like 4 different like stats lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they showed like a character select, and I don't know if that's all the characters in the game, but it was like just enough for both teams to have 5 characters, right? Like it looked like there were like 10, maybe 20, 12 characters. I mean, 20
free
in the game,
updates.
right? But that's not even my thing. Is like in other Mario sports games, right? When you play like Sluggers, right? There's like a billion fucking characters in that game. You know what I mean? And so instead of it being, oh, I'm gonna equip my Mario with this different gear, it's instead, oh, if I want a character that's like these stats, I'll just play fucking, Baby Dry Bones or whatever the fuck, right? Because they just like load it with all these fucking characters. And I would much rather have that and have the option to have a shit ton of characters that I could put on these teams and make and like just actually like I would much rather have more characters than gear. But like they obviously do the gear because I'm sure it's cheaper to make and whatever. But I mean, I don't like that because it just I think it makes it not just like more boring, but first of all, it's a fucking hassle if you want to play and you're like, oh, I gotta fucking check my gear, dog. So then like, because nobody wants to deal with that hassle, the way it always leads to is you just ignore it, right? It was the same thing in fucking Smash 4 where it had like the gear and had the ability to have different abilities and nobody fucking used it, right? And so it's the exact same thing with this, but then you also have now, oh, there's less characters in the game because the diversity comes from gear.
Yeah, I think I would defend it in the sense that like I think it's reasonable if someone likes it because like it'll like the gear will allow you to use your favorite character no matter what because you can just change their stats, so you can always just keep playing as Luigi but just change his stats. You're not forced to play as like Yoshi or something because he has the stats you like. You could just play as Luigi. Like I think it's good in that sense, but yeah, the trade-off of like less characters is not. I don't think it's a trade that most people would take. Really, I think people like having a lot of characters. So, it does kind of suck to see them like reducing the characters. And I hope it's not like it feels like a lot of the Mario spin-offs are doing stuff like that. Like there's just less stuff in them, and it's not always bad, but it's like sometimes it does seem like they're cutting back a little too much. And I think it just like even if it could like change in the future again, it's like making that like not as impressive first impression. So even if it's genuinely like good later on and like secretly better than like I don't know like a previous title, people won't notice that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I think that the issues are just issues with all of the Mario sports game. The other issues that like I'll have are the same issues that exist with every Mario sports game in this console generation. You know, which I don't see changing anytime soon because it's not like they have to.
Mm-hmm. Pretty sure Mario Party, even the ones that people don't like, still sell pretty fucking well. For at least from what I know.
Yeah, no, Super Mario Party sold like way better than it had any fucking right to. So, and the reason is because there are so many people that just like realistically, especially with a lot of these Nintendo franchises, there's so many people that buy them without actually knowing, like, how do I explain it? Like there's so many people that buy it without actually knowing the like anything about the game, right? Or the content in the game or how the game's going to play. They have their Switch, right? Maybe they bought it for Pokemon, maybe they bought it for Zelda or whatever. And they're not hardcore gamers. They don't follow a lot of the news. They don't really know. They go to the store, they see Mario Party, they buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because it's almost like just a lesson in brand recognizability, I guess is the word.
Recognition.
Yeah, brand recognition. Where, people have an attachment to the Mario Party the Mario Party brand. I'd play a Mario Karty, let me tell you what.
Mario Karty Brothers Brawl.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just like the brand recognition leads to them buying the games. And
I actually like this. I mean, I don't know if this is like quite on topic as like an example to bring up, but I remember watching like a video about somebody explaining how when the labels are taken off of Pepsi and Coke, people, I forget which one they ended up liking more without the labels, but like once they saw the labels, they liked the opposite one.
It's probably then that because most people would say they like Coke more than Pepsi, right? Just most people would. So I would not be surprised if it's, people actually like Pepsi more, but they,
Well, it also depends, because I actually remember reading about this back in high school, because it was the infamous New Coke change.
Yes.
Well, because basically what happened is that they did taste tests, and people tended to like the taste of Pepsi better, but that was in like small shot glass size cups. I was gonna not full on cans. So
that,
okay,
like
gotcha. Yes,
that part, the video did also mention. Well, actually, no, I think it was a comment that mentioned that, because the video didn't mention that, but I saw it in the comment.
Yeah, because Coke changed their whole brand, their main flavor of the soda to be more like Pepsi because of those taste tests, and the people didn't like it because in a full can it's the sweetness level is different when you drink a whole can of Coke versus a whole can of Pepsi.
I thought it was that people, even though people in a taste test will initially like Pepsi and be like, oh, I fuck with this, Coke stays with people for some reason, over time, people will stay drinking Coke over people who drink Pepsi. I don't know. Maybe I'm explaining.
Yeah. Well, also, yeah. I've had because I've had that with Cheese Nips versus Cheez-Its, where I've liked one, but then and thought I liked that one, but then I tried the other and was like, no, this is actually good too. Because there are slight differences between the two. But yeah, my dad, for a while, he was I would say addicted to Coke, because I remember there was one particular day where he didn't have cold Cokes, and he got in the fridge, and he got legitimately angry. I think he was also in severe back pain, so it's not it was just the Coke,
sense.
but after this he did realize this is a problem, and we haven't had really soda in the house since ever, in fact. But he doesn't like Pepsi at all. He only likes Coke, and it's because he's used to that. So I don't know. Maybe it is because he knows it's Pepsi. I never did the switcheroo on him at some point or something. But yeah. But no, I guess you're saying there's
I do
psychological
still think
things to it. I'm sure.
a
I think there is to a degree.
that.
There were other things going on in the topic we were talking, the new Coke. But I'm not gonna say, I'm not saying there's zero psychological things going on there. But yeah. I just want to share what I knew.
Was there anything else from the Direct that you wanted to mention?
Just that it makes me unbelievably sad that I have to actually play Xenoblade 2 to play 3.
Very hateful. It's actually rude.
Whereas Xenoblade 2 was fun.
What the heck? I just want people.
Xenoblade 2 has bigger titties.
I haven't even played Xenoblade 2 yet, but I want people to stop hating on Rex. He seems very good to me.
I don't have a problem with Rex or what I've seen of the story, other than I think Xenoblade 1's story definitely, I think, is a better hook. You finish the prologue in Xenoblade 1, or I guess you finish Act 1, really. But, the early Act 1, you finish, because it's hard, I feel like sometimes the story is that long to really find, an easy 1, 2, 3 act. Especially because Act 2 a lot of times ends up being just so insanely long, right? To give a big 3 example, right? If you count the beginning of Act 2 of One Piece as when they reach their grand line, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, the inciting incident in Xenoblade 1 hooked me so much more than the inciting incident in Xenoblade 2. But I don't have a problem
when
with
there's
Rex.
such long games, then
right, that inciting incident needs to hook me until the rest of the game does. You know what I mean?
Well, and just in general, even if you finish the game and you ultimately give it a 7, which is a good score, that's just harder to do when it's so long compared to playing the first one, which is also a long game, I assume, but it's one of your favorite games, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
so,
I got you.
Yeah, and I have no problem with Rex, and I mean, Pyrrha's hot. I've never seen Mithra in game, but my biggest issue is just I don't like the combat, and everyone says the combat gets good at a certain point. The combat does not start great, and I do not think it starts above Xenoblade 1's combat at all. I think there's a lot more time where you're not doing anything or whatever. So I just don't like the combat as much, especially early. So it's very hard for me to push through to the point where the game hooks me and I can finish it. And I'm just going to have to at some point because I want to play Xenoblade 3 really bad because the fact that it's connecting 1 and 2, September. The fact that it's connecting 1 and 2 means that there's going to be shit in it that I really want to see. So I'll have to fucking sit down and push through 2. So
I do want to start playing 1 because I have it, but
it's a great game. Fucking amazing.
yeah, I just want to finish other games first. I don't even have 2 yet because for some reason 2 is just not in stock physically at all. Like, I don't know why.
I
haven't checked in a while,
original
but
copy of 2.
I don't know. Nintendo's just not printing the game. I don't understand.
That is weird because I know the game sold super well.
Yeah, and like I don't think just because Xenoblade the remaster exists, I don't think people would just stop buying 2. So it's just like I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe they're trying to do artificial scarcity for it, so it's like they try to recreate the situation Xenoblade 1 had on the Wii. I don't fucking know. That would be funny if they were trying to do that, but I don't know.
Sad. Are we ready to move on to Orient?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay. First things first, prove to me that you actually watched the episodes.
I watched the episode. I liked it.
I thought it was funny when she took her titties out, and the stuff with Musashi and Kojiro where they're like both trying to
not be embarrassed. Like they
not be- but,
want to
like-
be honest, but they don't want to embarrass themselves.
Yeah, like Kojiro is like fucking turned on. Is like, oh my god, this fucking guy, girls love him. And then you have Musashi, who's like, his whole thing is like he doesn't want to upset Kojiro, and
I'm into MILFs. This isn't working out for me.
yeah, he just doesn't. He respect women. Like I loved the part where he had like the mental thing of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna fucking yeet her into oblivion.
But she's actually a teammate now, so he can't.
Yeah, that was the good part of the 2 episodes. Was them just
What?
being really
Okay.
stupid and awkward and dumb.
I like both the episodes. You didn't like the
Okay.
other one?
It was fun. It wasn't an adaptation of the manga.
Fair enough. I was actually somewhat into it. I liked
Okay,
these
cool.
2 episodes more than the other episodes so far. For sure. I still did think about how like, yeah, like as in adaptation, I haven't found anything personally that would make me want to see this story as an anime. It just seems like one of the like I mean, it's definitely not the case for literally everybody. I wouldn't know what they enjoy, but it feels like its appeal is more so just for people who haven't read it yet. They would really like it, or don't like manga. I guess they would like to watch it.
Yeah, because even if I don't care for it as an adaptation, but like you still get the stories and characters and stuff. Like so if you hate manga, then like okay, fine, go for it, watch it. Then this is gonna be the only way you experience it. So fucking whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine as that. Like, I don't like. I couldn't name anything I think is wrong with it as an anime.
Yeah, it's not Plunderer. Like I made that comparison earlier, just because like some of the production looking a little like not great reminded me of Plunderer, but it is not actually as bad as Plunderer's adaptation was. Cause ooh, yeah, but yeah, mostly yeah, like the first 2 episodes was fine, but yeah, the second episode had them being really stupid, and I like that.
I really like how Kojiro and Musashi, is his name Musashi?
You're right.
Okay, I like how they're like a similar kind of stupid. Like, their stupidity isn't coming from the same thing, but they're still, like, similar about it. Like, at first, I think when Kojiro was less, like, sad about his Bushi stuff, at first I was thinking, like, he felt less unique, kind of, sort of, but now I'm starting to like him again. Because, like, I don't know, like, I didn't feel like anything stood out about him after, like, the initial stuff, but now it's, like, I do like him. He's funny, and I do like how he's like, you can't clearly see what makes him different from Musashi, just because like, his thing was like, nobody liked him and everybody spit on him, so now he has these like weird quirks of not understanding things or knowing how to act because like everybody's just avoided him, and that that did shine through in the episode, episode 6. So yeah, I'm liking it more, but I'm still looking forward to it being done.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say.
It's fine.
I mean, I guess more general thing, but I like Sugumi and her design. I like her little hair tufts. They're stupid, and I don't know. I want to flip them or something. I don't know. They're funny. They're funny.
I did think it was like somewhat funny that the guy that Sugumi beat up, like the Lord, like now
he became like dependent on her.
Yeah, now he's just fucking like I expected him to just go be imprisoned or something, but no, he's just like a husk, which I guess it makes sense. Like it kind of makes sense, like in a story perspective of like, yeah, he was all controlling of Sugumi and she was all dependent on him, and now he's like he feels like he can't do anything because everybody turned their back on him, and now he feels like he has nothing. Like even before he lost his like mind or whatever, it did seem like he was very reliant on people listening to him, and like even though he kept saying like Sugumi's useless and these people can't do anything without him, he can't do anything without them. Like if they're not listening to him, he literally has nothing. So like it was pretty good.
Yeah, like I did mention how like these are ideas, found family, familiar themes. We've seen this stuff before, but there are some like even like in general with the freedom and conformity stuff, like there are little like differences that Orient has that make me go like, oh hey, yeah, like yeah, with Hideo, the leader guy, yeah, the fact that it's like, as a abusive, exploitative tyrant, he's not like, cold and calculating, independent. No, it was a codependency. Like he needs Sugumi as much as she needed him, but she grew up and grew out of that, and is being taken away, and still figuring that out. But he's like he wasn't able to do that, so he's that's a neat little twist that I haven't seen exactly like that before. Yeah, and so it's cool.
He also kept giving Sugumi second chances over and over and over again, and I think it was one of those things where like even though he's like threatening, like I'm gonna throw you away and stuff, like he did need her, so like that's why he kept giving her these chances to stay with him.
He's being really toxic, but yeah, it's as a way to manipulate her to stay with him.
Yeah,
right.
He was also like very thrown aback when she spit on his face, because like he was like, that's when like the illusion of like him not being able to control her and not have her was like really breaking.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty decent.
No, cool. No, and I actually hadn't thought about that until you were talking about it, so that's cool.
Yeah, Orient's okay. Thoughts on Orient, Vindy Vondo, everyone's favorite rat?
It's fine. All right, weekly roundup.
Hold on. Let me...
Shit. Nun's like, he talked about Orient, so I can't even like be like, oh no, haha, Nun's not talking. He better but no, it's like, no, you were just talking, so uh-oh.
No, I already have in mind what I'll probably end up having to talk about, but I'm looking to see if I have anything to avoid talking about it. No, I do not. So I mean, I finished Sailor Moon. I didn't want to talk about it because it's one of those things where it's like, I don't really care to talk about it right now, and it's also like, I didn't like it.
We could bitch about it if you want, and how mid it is.
Sure, no, but I like, my main problem with it was just like, I could never buy into the Usagi and Mamoru romance. Like, well, not buy in as in like I couldn't believe they were into each other or whatever. No, it's whatever. But
it's just not. He's so fucking boring.
Yeah, I feel like it's mean to say this, but it's like when I saw their romance, I just felt like it was vapid. Like I don't like it. It made me think things that I don't usually think about stuff. Like I thought the romance was vapid. When I like was reading like the speeches of like friendship and all these like good things, I usually like those in stories, but it was like, since they were just never hitting for me, I felt this like idea in my head of like, is this how people feel about shonen? Like, is like for once I'm like feeling when
it just feels like a platitude, like it just feels empty, right?
Yeah, like, and again, I wouldn't say it's like empty as in like, oh, it holds no meaning or whatever, but it's like,
well, it's not like what it is. It's like more just like you don't care, so that's just kind of how you're gonna feel about it, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I guess real quick to sum up how I feel about Mamoru. So my favorite part of Sailor Moon is the first movie. The whole movie is basically about an alien who wants to cuck Usagi because he loves Mamoru. And the best part of the movie has nothing to do with Mamoru. It's about all of, because he's like saying Usagi is shit basically. And so all of her friends who, like, we get like flashes to all of them being like lonely and alone. Like, Ami was a nerd. Makoto was, she was a kind of a tough, more masculine. Like, they're all like outcasted, but Usagi, because has this love in her heart, she was able to sort of round them up and befriend them and give them, and they're like saying these very specific things that tie to their circumstances. Like, well, no, the antagonist was saying very specific things about his loneliness, and they were connecting to those things in the like, the movie is literally about Mamoru, but the best part about it by far involved the Sailor Scouts, and like, that's what I like about Sailor Moon, is Usagi's friendship with the Sailor Scouts. And that's just kind of like so downplayed in the manga that I just kind of don't give a shit about the manga, because it focuses more on Mamoru, who I don't care about. And I also don't care about him in the 200 plus episodes of Sailor Moon that I watched. So it's like, whatever, bro.
Like,
so yeah.
Like, it felt to me like after a certain point, Mamoru, like, he kind of like almost felt like he was always saying and doing the perfect thing to do. And even though he had like this flaw, like, he carried this idea in his mind that he wasn't useful to Usagi, and that comes up. Nothing, like, really bad comes of him thinking that. Like, it does get addressed, it's there, but it's like, I don't think it didn't make him more interesting to me, and he was still, like, so, I don't know, like, I felt like he was, like, so perfect, that it just never, like, he just didn't, he's a character, but he didn't feel like a character to me, I guess.
Oh, yeah, now I understand the question that you asked on my server the other day.
Yeah. Because it's like, again, it's things that I don't like to say it about, like, stories or whatever. But that's how I was feeling reading Sailor Moon. And it was such a slog to read through, because, like, I don't like the antagonist.
But it's a slog. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's nothing, like, I don't think there's anything interesting about any of them to me. Like, nothing was like, oh, wow. Like there is the twist at, well, fuck it. I don't care. I don't care if any gets spoiled. There's a twist at the end where Chaos is saying, like, he had connections to all the antagonists throughout the entire series. And, like, yeah, they all connect back to him. And it's like, from a story perspective, I could see how, like, oh, that's probably good, but I didn't care. It was like one of those things where it's like, okay, it didn't make any of them more, like, any of the villains more interesting, because it's just like, a lot of them are all just like, they're evil. They are evil. Like, 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 the servants of the main antagonist aren't just like, they're evil, but the main antagonist is, for the most part, usually just they're evil. Like, yeah, the first one had the jealousy of fucking being jealous of Usagi, but it's like, it was so, the way it did it was so nothing about it. Like, it was such a, like, a little thing that I don't think it made her good. I mean,
they do have their own individual things, but those are definitely more emphasized, for me at least. Because when I think about them, I think about them in the anime, because I just had more time with them.
Yeah, like, I honestly, like, from everything I've heard about, like, the anime, it actually seems better to, like, it seems more appealing to me. I'm not going to say better. It seems more appealing to me.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's, the manga's a 5, the anime is like a 6, right? So it's still that, like, for, I'm still glad I watched it, but it's also, like, it's just so fucking long, and it's not, like, one of my favorite animes, so it's just kind of like, oh, well, like, I mean, if you're going to watch a 200 episode Magical Girl show, like, just watch Ojimado Doremi. Like, please, for your sake and mine, because Ojimajo Doremi is actually really good, and I think about that show, and it's like, and it stands out, and it's like, like, yeah, or just watch 4 Precure seasons. I don't know, fuck. Like, at least for me, there's other stuff I'd rather avoid, but I'm glad I watched Sailor Moon, because it is, like, important. But anyway, go ahead.
I think in the manga, the Sailor Scouts not being emphasized as much really does, like, hurt me caring about them, because, like, at the beginning when it was, like, first setting them up, I was like, I kind of like Rei, Sailor, which one is she again?
Rei is Mars. Jupiter is
Mars.
My favorite.
I was
Makoto.
interested in Sailor Mars. Sailor Saturn, like, kind of almost did something for me, but it was one of those things where, like, there's not that much time spent with the thing that almost got me. I don't even remember what almost got me. Like it was kind of the idea of her, like in concept. I was thinking like I could be into this, like her type of
her relationship
tragedy. But
her, because that was like kind of the familial themes with her father and stuff, right? Or something else, or just the whole
her in general. Like I think like her not wanting to
she was good.
Destroy the world and just kind of being this like burden kind of person, even though she doesn't want to be that and she feels differently. I was thinking like maybe this would kind of get something, but it's like it never manifested into more of a feeling for me, and I didn't really care by the end. So yeah, it was Mars and Saturn that I was kind of having something with. I did think Chibi Uso was pretty decent. Like, I ended up talking to Natty a little bit about Sailor Moon, and he also brought up Chibi Uso as someone that he liked, and I was like, yeah, I could see like her being like one of the better parts of the manga. Yeah, I did not enjoy Sailor Moon. And it's funny that it's like I do feel like certain like I felt like it was too short for certain characters and certain things in it, but it was also like it was painful for me to read through Sailor Moon. It was a slog. Yeah, like it like I'm glad that it's not longer because I wouldn't want more of it to read, but it still felt too short for the characters and all that.
I will say though that the art, like she can draw some cool looking, like she's got some good art in there.
Yeah, it does look really good.
But
oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention. The fights, like the actual fights, I do not like those. Like they're just literally spamming the same attack, and they like even though they get different attacks in the manga, most of them look the exact same. So it's like. I don't even think the fights are like good to look at because of that. Like they just all look the same for the
focus
most
is definitely not on the action.
Yeah, I get that the focus isn't on there, but like there still is like chapters of there being like mostly action and stuff. So I would want that.
That's true. That's true.
You know, like I don't know. And I guess like also, that type of thing doesn't usually bother me too, because like I did like Reborn, and Vindy has problems with like. How it like well, that's kind also, of the art like and also the scans.
Yeah, I was about to say it's more the scan quality.
And that wasn't ever something that came to mind when I used to read it. But in Sailor Moon, I mean,
well,
it's not even.
It might also just
I don't know. I was
just gonna mention because I remember this Toriyama saying this, and I've thought about it, while reading shoujo manga. Is just that like how. Shonen manga seem to focus more on like the intensity and the like what's happening, where the shoujo manga tend to focus more on the emotion.
Yeah, I get it, but
just different. Also, I was just gonna say like you were gonna talk about something else, but we could just say you talked about Sailor Moon. So
yeah, no. I decided to just talk about Sailor Moon.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to talk about it, but I don't have anything else to talk about, so I had to talk about Sailor Moon.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm very close to finishing the Pokemon anime, though. I watched more of it, but
nice. That's right. In the first movie, which you already watched.
I'm pretty sure I talked about it. I feel like I did.
No, you you said you were going to talk about it, but we did not. We did not talk about Pokemon the first movie. We had to stop ourselves from talking about Pokemon the first movie. Trust me.
I guess maybe I just didn't bring it up because I didn't finish the show. Because like when you watch the movie, it's like deep enough into the show to where like you can maybe just finish the show before. Talking about
that was what you were talking about last time. So
I can mention like explain a little bit of the thing where like I thought someone was stupid for recommending it at a certain place.
I was gonna ask about that, but I figured we'd wait until you discussed it,
but
so.
I just remembered that was something I should talk about, and I didn't like. I'll forget probably to explain.
I'll try to remember you because there's only so many things in my head.
It's not that hard to explain. I can just explain it real quick. Basically, the movie. Like, in the anime, there's an episode where Mewtwo breaks out of Giovanni's gym. Well, I don't think it's his gym, but it breaks out of wherever it is with Giovanni. I think it is his gym.
I think it's a gym because that's where Gary fought.
Yeah,
Mewtwo,
I know
right?
he was there with I know Giovanni had his Mewtwo there and fought Gary. I saw that, but like they could have moved somewhere else. I don't remember it showing the exact building, but I would assume
he's a psychic Pokemon. He can teleport, so
yeah. But in the anime, he blows up the building and flies off. But where the recommendation was, it was from an episode before that. Like that
Oh yeah,
hadn't
no,
happened
that's
yet.
yeah, okay.
So it's like
Yeah, no,
you literally shouldn't watch the movie there. And technically there is no perfect place to watch the movie, but like you should at least see that. And there was some other stuff that happened after that, bursting out of the fucking building thing, that I wouldn't say like watch the movie right after that happens, like right after. You could,
yeah, that's
though,
yeah.
but, at least that. But the recommendation didn't even fucking do that correctly. And there was another like minor issue with it where like the recommendation said it takes place when Ash has all 8, somewhere between him having all 8 badges and challenging the league, but the episode number they gave was from before he had even had his 8th badge. But I can forgive that because like I do recognize that maybe they were looking at the episodes wrong, because they probably cut out some of the banned episodes, like the Porygon episode.
Because you have specifically been trying to watch those, right?
Yeah, I've watched those, so it's like I can forgive them getting it wrong, and it was like slightly wrong, so it wasn't like crazy. Okay. But yeah, that was the thing. I mean, I would have probably been more angry about it if I explained it earlier, but yeah.
Anyway, we should let Vindy go before he kills himself.
I apologize.
I'm fine. I guess I'll talk about the fucking book now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I finished The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson a couple weeks ago. Maybe a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe last year. I don't fucking know when I finished it. It's the first book in a long-running fantasy series. The first book is like 1,200 pages. And then the other books are longer. I have not read much of book 2, but I really liked the first book. I think it's interesting because one thing it does that I actually really enjoyed was that, like, you know how, like, when you're reading a big fantasy epic, right, Crafts? You know, you know that essentially there's going to be a point where there's a big bad that, like, is the, you know, the essentially, like, the thing that's going to have to be fought by all the different protagonists you're reading from, right?
Sure.
Well, okay, so let me explain a little bit better. The story has to be leading to some type of climax, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times that climax, especially when you have a series where a lot of these characters you're reading are, some of them are close in proximity. Some of them are close, not in proximity, but by knowing people that other people know. So, for example, one of the characters that you're reading from, her perspective, is a girl who is she's like she's basically like an apprentice for being a scholar, and her the person who's teaching her is another one of the characters you read from's niece. So, but they're like very different parts of the world, and those two characters never interact in the book, right? Then there's that character, so the one whose niece and another character are very close proximity wise. They're in like not the exact same army camp, but they're both with the same country's army that's fighting this war that's like a big focal point of the book. So they're very close in proximity, and they end up meeting in the climax, and that's like how the climax goes down, which is, but so because these characters are all very close in proximity and knowing their goals, they're all, I don't want to just say like they're all good people, but you get the sense that as things are going and you're learning slightly more things, there's going to, like, at some point, I'm going to know what the climax is going to, right? Like, what is
the big picture.
The big picture, right? The book doesn't tell you what the big picture thing is until the last line of the book. Like, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, the entire book is about this one conflict, essentially, and then what the other characters are doing and, like, setting them up. But the book, this entire 1,200-page book, I'm reading and I keep thinking, like, what's the big picture here? Mm-hmm. Like, why is this going to be a 10-book series? Where is this going? And the very end of the book tells you. And the last, like, few chapters really are just, like, crazy fucking reveals and setups for future shit. It's insane. Like, it just slaps you in the face with some fucking insane shit because it's a fantasy book. But one thing I like is, like, it doesn't do what some other fantasy books that I haven't been able to finish do, where I think it gets too deep into just telling you the world from like a third person perspective, right? Where I think people talk about Tolkien does this a lot, right?
Yeah.
And there's multiple different reasons you can look at it for it, right? There's the Lord of the Rings in universe reasoning, which is that the way that the books are like in terms of like in canon as a book is that Tolkien found these Middle Earth historical texts and translated them, right? And so that's part of it. You could look at how books were written back then. You could look at a lot of different things, but there's a lot of just like very almost like objective blanket descriptions of things, right? That go on for a long time and can get very dry to read. And I think that this book didn't do that. I think that was one of the things that allowed me to read it really well, and really enjoy it, was that I felt like it was very efficient with its world building, as well as very like it doesn't just hit you with everything. Like, I'm sure that I'm going to learn a lot more like basic tenets of the world in the second and third and fourth books, right? So there's always like that mystery of like, I'm learning things about the world that all the characters know, but I don't know, right? And so you have to kind of read and figure it out. And then a lot of the way that like a lot of those mini things are very diegetic, where you learn about it just from what the characters are thinking about. And it's not like the character starts thinking and then they go on this long thought process, right? That's like, oh, and in our world, this and this and this, right? But it's like if a character's doing something weird, they're like, it's really weird for like someone of their status to be doing this, right? Or someone like for a guy to be doing blank in like the culture, right? So you're learning just through like as the things are going, which I really enjoy. Not that I think it's like better, but it personally I can it engages me more book wise. What are you fucking over here laughing about? And then I really like the main character of book one, because the different books have like a different character that's like the focal point of that book, if that makes sense. So there's like
unbridled toxicity from none.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh when Vindy's talking.
Anyway, so main focal character.
Yeah, so there's outside of like like the interlude chapters where there's a bunch of random characters you read from. Really, there's 4 characters that you really read from in book 1. 4 major characters. You could maybe say 5, but I really think 4 is the better number. One of them is like the main character of the book. So there are a good number of chapters that are flashbacks to what happened to him beforehand and going through like his story, and the climax is through his eyes and is his like it's a big moment for him as a character where he kind of like overcomes a lot of the trauma he's holding on to. And it's really fucking good, actually. Can you fucking stop?
I'm sorry.
And like, oh my fucking god. Are you okay?
I'm sorry.
Now you have to share.
I'll explain it after Vinny's done talking.
Oh my fucking god. This guy's pissing me off. So whatever. I just really like the book. Alright, I'm done. I like the book.
I'm sorry.
Craftsdwarf, you talk.
I'm sorry.
He's not sorry at all.
I am. I didn't try to laugh there. It's just like when you guys get upset about it, it makes what I'm laughing at more funny. So
What are you
I'm
laughing
sorry.
at?
I mean, I can't exactly post it, but it was just basically
Why can't
me
you post it?
No, Dan posted a picture of himself, and I said, "How's Flash been?" Because there's this whole thing where I said Dan looks like he would be friends with Flash, like Flash with Spider-Man. I just thought it was funny, and I was thinking about like past things that he said about me saying that, like one time he was like, friends don't cast their friends in Spider-Man movies, and I was just thinking about stuff like that. So I mean, I can't post my message because it's in reply to him posting a picture, but you know.
All right, are you sure you didn't have anything more to say about the book?
I'm fine. I liked it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
1 second.
I guess you can talk more about the book, Vindy.
No, I'm good.
I was gonna sneeze, but then it didn't happen. So, so I was gonna talk about Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. However, that would have necessitated watching Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I decided I didn't want to do that. So, yeah, I'll watch it eventually. I just don't.
Oh yeah, you're gonna talk about.
Why are they?
I forgot.
Why are they so fucking long? Like they're like. I mean, they're only 20 minutes after 2 hours, but it's like. Fuck. But so anyway, I'm not gonna talk about those. Instead, I am partway through my reread of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I did actually, I'm almost 2 volumes into Stardust Crusaders, but I'm going to talk about Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency.
Phantom Blood better. Part 1 better.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I know I've been like because it was definitely funnier to hold that and wait just to fuck with you and get you like because I gave you the wink and you were like what the fuck and I was like that's
yeah like I didn't know if that meant are you winking because that's not the case and you ended up liking part 2 more. That was what I was leaning towards you meaning. But
no, I was winking because I'm literally going to talk about it tomorrow, so you don't need to ask. And today is tomorrow, so anyway, but yeah, Phantom Blood, good. Like I have rereading it, I liked it more than I ever have. I'm pretty sure. Like it is shocking to see how like much he sets up idea wise, even just in its own context, and how like well it is set up. I like Jonathan. I really like Dio. I also like George and Erina. Like fucking, there's obviously like you thought your first kiss would be Jonathan, but it was me, Dio. That's a meme. But like, so I always forget that like right after that, Erina literally like wipes her mouth with fucking literal shit water because and like to insult Dio, and I'm like, holy shit. She's cool. And like even as an older lady, she's also cool in part 2. She's just, I don't know, Erina's cool. And then yeah, like just Jonathan being, kind of this at first spoiled kid, but then like, but through Dio he kind of gets tougher. And he just has such a good like dynamic with Dio. And like the character writing in part 1 is really fucking good actually. Like there's just a lot of like neat little details. Like especially with the sort of relationship between the Joestars and Dio, with him sort of as this like, because like George, like there was the whole flashback to with prison where what the hell is that?
I'm drinking from a jug of water.
How big is that jug?
What is wrong with you? Can you just not let other people talk without having to make some kind of unnecessary noise?
I didn't think it would be that loud.
Turn off your mic.
Wow, Vindy's so actually pissed. Holy shit.
I feel like I do laugh during Vindy's thing usually.
Yeah, you always do because I clearly bore you, so you start looking in Discord or on
Twitter. No, it's Discord's fault for posting funny things when you're talking.
Anyway, so yeah, like so because George, there was the whole thing where Dario Brando stole his like ring and he was trying to pawn it off, and George was called in with the thief and like, hey, I know this man, like he saved my life, and like I gave him that ring. Like he lied for Dario's sake because like he was giving him a chance to be better, but Dario of course did not be better. He was still an alcoholic piece of shit who abused his son, and and Dio also hates his father, but then like there's a part of Dio that I think like can like, because he is like his father's blood, like he feels like he's kind of like falling into like, there's a part where he's drinking and he's like, just like my father, right? Like, like he sees his humanity as like he's being trapped by his fate, and which is also something like even just in the first part of volume 3, he's talking about fate and how he wants to escape it, and that also comes in part 6 with his belief of what heaven is, and so like so the moment like all the build up to him like putting on the mask, and he rejects his humanity and he severs it because he doesn't want to be bound by like his blood, and but that's only because he sees it that way. And like George, even though like he's borderline abusive to Jonathan, and I don't think he's like, because he keeps saying things like, oh yeah, Dio, you're just like family, you're like a son to me, or I consider you part of the family. Like the fact that he keeps bringing it up, like even though he means it in all good intentions, like the fact that he is bringing it up so often and treating Jonathan differently from Dio, like he's kind of like outcasting Dio in his own home, if that makes sense. And just like there's it's just like, it's actually just like good and solid, and I just ended up like really digging just that whole dynamic, and and then the other thing that I thought was, I think I was also thinking about it because I think someone in my I want to say it was Askin was reading JoJo, and they kept noticing how like luck kept coming up as like a negative thing. Yeah, and as a negative thing, and I thought it was interesting, and where fate comes in as a positive thing, and so I was really paying attention to that in part 1. because like you have like the moment when Zeppeli, he's like training, or he's going to learn Nen, and like his trainer or tells him that like, you know, if you decide to learn Nen, your path of destiny will take you to your death, basically. Like so like destiny isn't like entrapping, it's like there's choice there, like you choose to follow your destiny or not. Like Zeppeli could have just lived a normal ass life, but he wouldn't have gotten the answers about his father or the stone mask or anything, so he sort of accepted that destiny base. So it's like destiny is something that you do make for yourself to a degree, but you know, like the characters accept it and such. And where luck, of course, is like, I guess it was kind of interesting how luck was different for, you know, basically Jonathan and Dio. Because with Dio, lucky things would just happen to him, and that would be kind of it. Like there's when he puts a stone mask on the guy outside and nearly gets fucking killed until the sun just happens to rise and that guy dies. Or when the mansion gets burned down and Dio just like I think the damn it, there's not a good way to say this because that's just how they fucking refer to it in the manga. The Oriental guy. The China guy, like I don't know what's a good way to say that. I can't. I'm sorry. He doesn't have a name. Just okay. He does have a name. God damn, fucking Araki. Anyway, but yeah, he mentions that like Dio was born under a star of luck or something like that. And like so Dio just like lucky things happen to him and that's it. Where the difference with Jonathan is that like, and even in like just part 2, like with Joseph, like lucky things happen with him too, but I would say the difference is sort of like established in the sword that Jonathan gets. It's the sword that was called Luck, but then Bruford the Knight, like he renames it Pluck, so he made turning luck into something about courage or courageousness, basically, right? So and like so what I've been noticing is that just like when lucky things happen to the Joestars, it's not about them like just accepting this lucky thing and moving on. It's more like they take that lucky thing and turn it into an opportunity. Right? So like during the fight with Dio in the mansion, like he grabs the spear gets broken off and like luckily it falls toward Jonathan and he grabs it, but it's like it's not about him getting the spear, it's what he does with the spear that helps turn the tables of the fight. Or in Joseph's fight against Cars, like his fucking severed hand gets launched by the volcano and fucking hits Cars in the neck. Like bullshit luck. But the important part of that isn't that happened. Like that didn't solve the situation. But Joseph like rolled with it and is like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but that was my plan. And Cars is like literally like a 400 IQ. Like what the fuck? This is how that doesn't make any sense. He's like he's so flustered by Joseph's bullshit plan that he, you know, like that helped, you know, turn things in Joseph's favor. So I don't know, it's just like interesting to see the ideas and like thinking about them in the context of later JoJo parts and just like Phantom Blood is good. Excuse me, like what the hell.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just had to. Anyway, Battle Tendency. Yeah, I like Joseph. Joseph and Caesar do have a cool like rivalry thing. They're cool. But I definitely think as far as like, you know, like the Pillarmen just kind of don't, I don't know, like they're not Dio, sorry. You know, they're fine, but, and yeah, Joseph's likable and all, but it definitely like, reading it after part 1 and like getting so much out of part 1, I was kind of like let down by part 2 just cause like, I don't know, it just doesn't have as much going on. I'm not sure about how the, like, and there's a little like, because like there's a whole thing with like evolution where, you know, Cars wants to become the most evolved being because, you know, like this perfection that's also like a stagnance where, you know, where Joseph of course is like an evolution of Jonathan in that like he's you know, he's very different from Jonathan. Like it's very established that like where Jonathan was very noble and pure, Joseph's like he's a trickster, an asshole, and even kind of a coward. Like he'll just fucking run away if he, you know, if he feels like that's the best thing. But you know, he still ultimately has the heroic trait of like, you know, he won't give up. But you know, he is very different, but he is also like accepting that, you know, like he's not trying to be perfect or anything like that. There's that contrast with Cars, I guess. But like I don't know, there just wasn't as much like so it was doing its own thing, but I just didn't get as much of it out of rereading it as I would have hoped, I guess.
Yeah, I just think like there's nothing in part 2 that's as striking and as gripping as Dio and Jonathan is in part 1. And I think just so much about like JoJo's, as you said, being in part 1 just makes it the far more interesting and compelling part compared to 2. Like, I feel like what 2 has going for it is really like, if you really like Joseph, this is your part. Like, Joseph,
yes,
like,
right.
you love Joseph. But, like, I just think, like,
Absolutely.
part 1 is just, like, clear. Like, I don't care about cars. Like, I don't care about cars. I don't care about the Pillarmen.
Yeah, if any of the Pillarmen stand out, it's probably, like, Wham, or just because, he's got, like, honor thing going on. Like, that's neat, I guess.
I like
but,
AC/DC.
AC/DC's cool. Or in some ways, yeah, he's a little bitch, tricky bitch is what I meant. But
Good fight.
yeah. The thing I was gonna say was weird is just like, cause like they're definitely like comparing, like, oh, the Nazis believe they're the most evolved people. But and then like Stroheim's like I guess he's throwing away his humanity to become a cyborg, but also I guess you could read it as like science is like part of humanity and its growth. I don't know. I just was getting weird vibes from how the Nazis were handled, just because I felt like
there was a fucking Nazi on the
I
side
felt
of
like they
Jonathan,
should be like
Joseph.
considering the very specific like the things called attention to. Like maybe there should be more of they should be portrayed as more negative or closer to the antagonists, but they're kind of just allies.
Nazi, but he's really cool.
No, I mean, Stroheim has so many, like, quotable lines. Like, he's funny. But there's just, like, some level of, like, I don't know. I feel like the Nazis should be, like, again, like, because it would fit thematically with just, like, what the party's doing of them to be portrayed more negatively. But they kind of, at the end of the day, aren't. And that was a little, like, weird for me. Sorry that I dislike... not that I dislike part 2 more, but there's definitely, like, a hindrance there just because of, like, hey, yeah, Nazis and the way they're portrayed is a little like even Kinnikuman, which is also a little bit like it has brought the Brocken and Brocken Jr. Like I don't know, man, what is with fucking shonen manga Nazi like 80s shonen manga Nazis? Like I gotta fucking step back on this one and just like what the hell, fucking goddamn. But yeah, I did like, Joseph and Caesar had like a cool rivalry dynamic, and like the way Caesar was kind of like obsessed with his lineage and defined himself by the Zeppeli thing, where Joseph was only in like he didn't care about the fucking stone mask and Jonathan's history with and like the ties to the Pillarmen. He was just like, nah, these guys are gonna fucking endanger Speedwagon and Erna. I'm gonna fucking kick their ass. So yeah, they were good. I liked them, but again, it's just like compared to Jonathan and Dio. Oh, and another thing, I realized that because we talked about on the Kimetsu EWB about how part 1 specifically was an influence on Kimetsu no Yaiba, and I really got that vibe in the fight.
Specifically,
I think.
I don't remember.
Maybe,
I know
maybe,
JoJo's
okay.
was an inspiration. I just don't remember if like they mentioned a part.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Part of me feels that way just because of again throwing away the humanity, and I thought about Dio, and I guess I also got that vibe during the Bruford fight because the way Jonathan kind of like redeems Bruford and like gives him his humanity back, and like we even get like a flashback. Like it just felt very like this is just kind of how a lot of the demon fights in Kimetsu no Yaiba go.
I definitely thought like Dio was like like when I saw the JoJo is an inspiration, I thought of Dio, but I just never thought of like a specific part. I feel like I'm the one who brought up that example in the EWB. Well, brought up that like what Kimetsu's actual inspirations are, but I'd never remembered.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I don't, maybe that was just a weird assumption that I made, but at least reading through it, like at least from part 1 and part 2, like the Jonathan versus Bruford fight very specifically like gave me Kimetsu vibes. So just like how that fight went down. But yeah, I'm pretty into it, honestly, and I'm curious. I just started part 3 today, and I'm kind of curious as to how I'm gonna like the rest of the, because I haven't read some of this stuff in fucking years. So, actually, like I did go through the anime up to part 4, but I've only gone through part 5 and 6 once each. And with shitty scans at that for part 5. So yeah, I've been needing to go through it for a good while. So yeah, all right.
I hope you continue being cool, because part 3 is good, and
I don't know, at the very late, like even part 2, which I wasn't as big on, like there's still cool and interesting stuff there. So I like I'm impressed with Araki as a storyteller, is what I'm saying. Like at this, like he was relatively young, and this was old. Like I'm like, wow, I don't get cool, interesting thoughts like this out of older Jump manga all the time. So that's pretty cool. But yeah. What do you guys think about talk about next week?
Poop.
Ooh,
I don't know. I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes. I decided the next thing I would say is poop. I have no fucking clue.
Okay, I can't even blame you because with what I don't know. But
No, I just decided at one point, I was like, I'm not gonna say anything until like Kraus is done talking about JoJo's, and then I'm just gonna say poop. So I honestly forgot you were gonna answer that question. I assumed I would just say poop and then the episode would end because I forgot that this happened. So
yeah. Well, see, maybe like because I thought it was a good idea to kind of like, hey, what are we doing next episode? But now I'm realizing is like because you guys keep forgetting of like because you'll bring stuff up here and you'll think that you actually just talked about it for like a whole weekly roundup, but then it's really you just mentioned it briefly at the end. Like you both have done that, so I'm just like,
well,
dude,
and
is
also
this a good
sometimes
idea?
I just fucking I feel like I keep debating people because I say something and it's just not what I do.
I think that's fine.
Same.
Because what if you like you just don't have that much to say?
Well,
You know?
I mean, it's one of
Or
those
No,
things
most
that
of the time
Ross
it's that I
mentioned
didn't do what
something
I said I was gonna
didn't
do.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Well, that's
that. Because, I mean, I'm going to say again, probably Pokemon. I would think Pokemon. I've watched more since, but it's like I haven't been binging it. I'll just watch an episode and then
You know
I'll
what?
stop.
I'll take the Nunmanji approach and say something I definitely have said for like 3 weeks now. Star Wars.
I will either again it'll be either the Amazing Spider-Man movies or what will also be done by next time I record is the first season of The Legend of Vox Machina, which I mentioned before when I talked about Critical Role, the animated series. It's because it's been coming out 3 episodes a week for the last like 3 weeks, which is pretty cool. And it's only gonna be 12 episodes, so yeah, next Friday will be the last 2 episodes. And I've been watching them like in the morning, like right once I'm able to, basically, because I'm just like, yeah. So we'll see what I talk about. But
I guess,
yeah.
I mean, one other thing that I might talk about is Taisho Otome Otoganabashi. I'm not looking at the name.
I don't remember what it was.
I know what the name is, but I just don't remember.
Are you gonna read the manga or are you gonna watch the anime?
I'm watching it right now, but I'm probably gonna end up talking about the manga because it's only 5 volumes. There is a massive quote unquote sequel to the manga, but it's not an actual sequel, really.
Okay.
Like Mao labels it as a sequel, but I looked into it and it's about different characters, and the main character makes like cameos and stuff, but it's not like an actual sequel.
Okay. So it focuses on like a minor character in the regular series, but okay.
I don't even know. Like I couldn't even tell if it was like.
Well, maybe okay. Here's the thing, because like I watched the anime and I finished it as it aired. Earlier you asked me like how about the anime and like how far did it or like did it reach a complete ending, and it reached the ending and I decided to check, and yeah, there's shit in the manga. Like I thought, oh, it's a 5-volume manga. They could adapt that in 12 episodes. No, I don't know how much they adapted, but it was not. There's at least stuff in the last couple of volumes that 1% did not get adapted. So I'm realizing, shit, I got to read it too at some point. Because I definitely think, I mean, the anime is fun, but I probably enjoy it. The manga goes farther, and I get, I spoiled myself on the ending, but
that's why I didn't want to look it up myself.
I looked it up. I bit the bullet, so now you know that the anime does not finish.
But yeah, I mean, the quote unquote sequel is also only 5 volumes, but I doubt it's an actual sequel. It doesn't seem like a sequel to me.
It seems like a spin-off from the description, at least.
Very cringe that Mao will label that a sequel, but it labels Boruto a spin-off. That was something I thought about. That's why I'm like massive quote unquote, because I thought about that when I saw that.
No, they fucked up with Love Live too, because anyway, but let's not go too far off in how
it's fine, but
Motorcycle Guy joined us at the very end. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Poop.
Bye.